Hey. Ooh, waving. See if this works. Come on. Where are you at, Badger? Hello, everyone. Yes! Badger! You did it. I'm so proud of you.
Thanks. This is a FFT for me.
Yeah, so your first time, huh? I just had Dan trying to help me figure this out, too, because I did it once. I still can't figure out how to keep doing it, but whatever. It's good. Hey, so I got Nancy Newell here. I know probably everyone that's joined in knows who she is, but if you don't, she is the director of sport performance at the Strength House outside of Boston. You're in Worcester. Is that correct? Did I say that right?
Yes, said it wrong.
I'm not surprised. How do you say? Where are you guys out of?
Worcester.
What?
Worcester.
Whatever. I mean, it's those Boston people. I don't know. I don't keep up with the accent stuff, but it's all good. So she's out of blah 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 blah. You heard where she's from, but we're just gonna say outside of Boston. So we got the Badger with us. Thank you for joining me, Badger. Cool. So Nancy, her background, she came from Cressy Sports Performance. She did that for a while, and now she is, again, like I said, the director of sports performance at the Strength House. So tell me a little bit about the Strength House, and how many coaches do you guys have out there?
The Strength House is an amazing place where people just get after it each day. Love
Hell yeah.
Great energy, great vibes. So there are four of us. So we have the business owners, both Tony Bonvecchio and Greg Robbins. Amazing human beings. If you don't follow them, I would already go follow them. And then we have
absolutely.
a part-time coach, Lori Manning.
Yes.
She's also a great human being, and I think together we have created just a powerhouse of a squad.
Oh, yeah. You know, I think about you guys as kind of like Wizard of Oz. I know this is really weird, you know, how I like to dub people names and stuff, but Lori the Lion, we got Tony the Tiger, we got Coach G, Grizzly, and we got you, Badger. So we got Lions, Tigers, and Bears, Badger. Oh, my. I mean, I love it personally. So that's kind of how I think about you guys. I don't know why, but I do, and I like it. So, but you guys got an awesome, awesome crew. I am such a huge fan of all of you guys. And hands down, I've learned so much from all of you, that whole team you got there. I mean, you guys are just badasses. You guys are good humans, good people, and you guys do such a fantastic job with your clients and with members. And I really respect all of you guys, and I'm a huge fan of you guys. So, again, I appreciate you coming on and chatting with me live on here. Popular topic, coronavirus. What a surprise, right? Because it's affecting everyone. What's going on with you guys and in terms of the coronavirus? You guys are currently shut down, I'm assuming, since most places are.
We are shut down for the sake of humanity and safety.
Yes, absolutely. So how does that look like? What does that look like for your members? What's going on there and with your guys' clients and stuff? What are you guys doing for them, or how are you staying involved and connected with them?
Yeah, so we had to really just be adaptable as fast as possible because it's kind of just started out of nowhere. And I think the most powerful thing about our gym is our connection and our intimacy, like with our clients. So it was a question of like, how do we take all of that and then bundle it up and make it more into like a virtual space per se. So we've just been providing like daily workouts sent to them every single day, giving them different options because we really just train people who have usually three different goals. So we have either athletes or sports performance volunteer athletes who come to our gym. We also have people who would like to lose weight, move a little bit better, and then we have people who want to get just absolutely yoked. And so it's like we have three different versions that are sent out every day to kind of accommodate those needs. But at the end of the day, it's just we're assuming that people don't have anything to work with. They're just all they have is their body weight and maybe space. And basically, I think the biggest tool that we've given them is just our interaction every day, so they get to see our faces, small little cues on how to do things correctly. We've stayed pretty active with them, being able to talk to them via Zoom.
And you guys are doing that in a group setting too, right?
Yeah.
That's kind of fun because then they can at least interact with each other too. So everyone's kind of still involved in the community doing that, correct?
Yeah, because I think it's more about like our tribe. So it's like it's like an invitation that like everyone shows up, and I think that drives the community. You'll see it too, like on our story. We have a lot of people just like posting their workouts, and I think that kind of creates like a ripple effect through everybody.
Sure.
And it's a huge transition, and like a lot of our clients, not a lot of them, but like obviously some of them have like reached out and just talked about like the struggle of being able to like keep a routine, and the difference of workouts, because it's like you're so used to moving hundreds of like pounds, you know, when you go to the gym and then moving your body weight. It's definitely a different state, it's a different mentality, but it's like I think asking themselves the question of like, all right, like what would an adaptable person do?
Right. Absolutely.
And it kind of like changes their mindset a little bit.
Right.
So I think we are doing the best that we can right now. And I think one thing that we're doing really well is just like every week, like reaching out to people and just being like, how else can we serve you? How else can we help you? Is there something that like you're missing? Any questions? So really it's just like a matter of fact of just like staying in contact with people and not letting it slip off.
Well, and that's the thing, not letting people fall off track entirely, right? I mean, they might not have the same workouts going on, but you can still hold them accountable. You can still reach out. I've been really trying to tell people to just keep those connections going with people. You know, it might even be as simple as a phone call, and you might not be talking about exercise to every single one of your clients. They might just need you to chat with, to have some kind of connection, human connection, since we're all deprived of that right now, you know? So just being there for them. And again, we're in a service industry, so just providing as much value to our clients as possible, whether that is just going live with them or, you know, seeing their face, again, a simple phone call. And if it is a workout that they really need, focusing on that workout or focusing on whatever it is that they're really missing out on right now too. And I think keeping those connections is huge and very, very important right now. You know, the more we can support our people, the more they're going to support us when things do go back to normal. Kind of see how I see it.
Yeah. I think so too, and I think it's just like it's innate in us, especially like if you're a coach, you like really what you're doing. Like it's not hard to like go out and reach. It kind of seems like extra work, but it's really not. Like I find myself just doing it because like I really just care about the well-being.
Absolutely.
And it is really cool to see like how big of an impact that we do have on people and like their happiness. And just like getting emails, like people are just like, oh, like I like to say this one word, like it's like, in the video, like it's a small little like quirk. So
it is.
I think everyone's doing the.
Yeah, it's tricky, but you know we got to do all those little things matter, and that's what it comes down to is all those little things. You guys have a lot. What's the percentage, if you know, ballpark of what high school athletes that you guys have there?
I'm not sure the exact percentage.
Yeah.
But I'd say we have like a decent amount. I'd say it's kind of like 50-50 per se. Like we do train, but we also just train too a lot of the parents of the athletes.
Sure. Do you find that you guys are struggling at all to keep any of the high school, the younger kids motivated at all throughout this?
Of course, like it's hard for kids to stay on track. Because it's more of like a habit. Like they don't have like the social cues to like train, as they're so used of going to school. And then as soon as you get out of the school, you come and train, and you train with like they're missing their tribe too. Like sometimes the only reason that kids train or athletes train is because they get to see their friends.
Socializing. No kidding.
And that there for them is like it's a very important part of their day. And it's like, trying to think of creative ways to have them feel that same sense of community.
Right.
It's like you can't replace like physical touch and like interaction.
Sure.
But I think we're doing the best that we can when it comes to just like checking in with kids in like a group setting per se. And also just making sure that we're posting them training. Because each one of them is like, I don't think anyone's like given the title of a leader. It's like it's something that you have inside of you that you bestow upon everybody. And
Absolutely.
It's like, a lot of those kids have those attributes, and it's just like, how can I come up with creative ways so that they can showcase, so they can like help their friends that they can. So,
well, speaking of habits, since you brought that up, I'll ask you a little bit, kind of switch gears a little bit here on talk about habits. So when we talk about habits, in order to change behavior, we have to change our habits, right? So that's kind of how that works. So would you have any advice for anyone that might be struggling with habits or wanting to ingrain new and good habits and really get rid of the bad habits or make those bad habits look less attractive?
Oh, of course.
Do tell me about this habits. What would you suggest?
So I was diving into this book called Atomic Habits.
Yes, good one.
And James had this like really good quote in there where he said like, we don't have a goal problem, but we have a systems problem. And at the end of the day, it's like you don't rise to the level of your goals, but you fall to the level of your systems. And I find that a lot of people set goals, and like goals are really great, and they give you direction and like clarity. But if you don't have like your small systems in place, the behavior that we're trying to change isn't really going to happen.
Right.
And so he talked about like keystone habit stacking. And so I think what's going on right now is very hard on everybody because it's like it kicks us out of our normal schedule and doesn't allow us to like fully see like what our habits are, our keystone habits.
Sure.
You know, like we have to create a brand new schedule. And so I think one thing that has helped a lot of clients for me is just like having them write out like a master daily schedule.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so whether they go ahead, they get up at 6 o'clock, they make their coffee, they do like 30 minutes of reading, and then supplement it there and with like 30 minutes of just like something that's like not work related, like something more has helped them a lot. But overall, it's just like being able to create systems. And he also talks about like an identity focus.
Yeah.
And I thought that was like one of the coolest things. Because it's like, if someone's trying to like lose weight, for example, he switches it out instead of saying like, all right, I want to lose 40 pounds in 3 months. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to get on a great diet plan, and I'm going to exercise 3 times a week. And like, really that doesn't work. But he says like, when you come up to like a roadblock, asking yourself, all right, like who's the type of person who would want to lose 40 pounds?
Right.
And then after that, like what type of person, it would be like the type of person who like doesn't miss workouts. And how can I be that person who doesn't miss workouts? But I think a lot of habits come from just like asking yourself the right questions to create. Like, what would a healthy person have for lunch? Sure. Like, they would probably have like this, and this. Yeah. You know, I think that's a really great way to start.
Like almost switching your identity or trying to identify with the person, the type of person that you want to be, or those goals, the people that are already doing that stuff. So you're identifying with that. Is that kind of how you're looking at things?
And I think it's instead of getting, most people go like 0 to 100. Like if they're trying to improve their nutrition, they're like, all right, let me just go crazy on like, let me just
too much too soon.
And it's just like, it's not so it's like, if you can just ask yourself, start with like the smallest thing, something that takes like 2 minutes to do, like a choice, or like asking yourself, and then allow yourself, like master showing up first before you try to like maximize like a crazy huge goal, because it's like it's not gonna work. That's good. And then like getting rid of shitty habits, you know, with like drinking beer, like pretty solid. Like we all have time to like go ahead and like crush alcohol per se, you know?
Sure.
But it's like a way for people to like break a bad habit that's they probably don't do that often. You know, it's just like super unattractive and make it like very hard for you to do that. So it's like maybe when you purchase your beer, like you place it like on the bottom shelf all the way in the back. So it's like out of your sight when you open up the fridge versus like just having the beer sitting there on like your front shelf. Also just like if you find yourself getting like sucked in with too much TV or too much screen time, like just making things harder to access, like taking your phone.
Absolutely.
And you could literally go as far as like taking your phone and putting it in your mailbox, you know, or something like
yes.
you know,
I would love for people to do that.
You know,
that'd be hilarious.
It's so great.
Do you know how many times people would be checking their mail? It'd be like the most mail checking ever. So, gotta go check the mail again. You know,
it's like everyone is.
But it's good.
It's so good. I fall into that habit. I know. I'm like, oh my god, 30 minutes has gone by, and I'm like still like scrolling through just like garbage. You know.
Yeah.
So I think being honest with yourself too, and asking yourself like, you know, what is preventing me from being my best self, like hour, and then answering truthfully.
Sure.
And setting yourself.
That's hard to do sometimes.
Yeah. And then setting yourself in an environment where you can like actually attack those goals and be like the most effective. So, but there's multiple ways to be successful too when it comes to like creating new habits and getting rid of old ones. And that's where I would start though, is like putting systems in place and like very small systems, and then giving yourself like tracking is huge too. So, like starting small too. I can't overemphasize that, like starting small. Like, it has to be very easy. Like if you want to read a book a month, like that, they're still aggressive, and like you just may start with a book and just be like, all right, today I'm just going to read one page. Like, yes.
Like, I mean, breaking things down very simply and just little by little until you create that whole. I was actually talking to your sister the other day about staying focused and habits and accomplishing tasks throughout my day. And I was telling her that I organize my days like I do my workouts. It's kind of a weird thing to do, but I have my primary lift, right, for my workout. And then I might have my secondary lift, and then my accessories and my fluff work. And so I tell her I prioritize my tasks for the day like that. Like I got my primary, the thing I need to get done. This is my thing I'm going to accomplish, and I have to. It's my main movement. I'm going to get this done. It has the highest priority. And then I will kind of trickle things down like that. You know, these accessory work, the little things that, you know, might not be at the top of my list of things to do. You know, it's just my fluff work, whatever, and that's going to be down at the bottom. And I'm not going to beat myself up about it too much if I miss one or two of those, because that can kind of move on to the next day or whatever. So I kind of break mine down into like a workout, and it's kind of an odd thing to do, but it works really well for me, and it keeps me focused, keeps me on track, and it's this weird system, but it works, you know, not just for my workouts, but for my everyday daily tasks that I need to accomplish. So kind of a fun thing to try out.
I think that's outstanding.
Yeah. So not too bad. What I appreciate about Nancy here too is Nancy is one of the biggest nerds I know, and I appreciate that and respect that, and I love it, and I admire it so much. She's always reading, always learning, self-education. You are actually learning some pretty damn cool stuff right now. Tell me what your focus is, what you're studying right now. I think it's really interesting, very nerdy, and I like it.
Yeah, it can get pretty nerdy. I mean, it's
big time.
Greg and I have been, we've been really focusing on learning from Dr. Jay Miller from Renaissance Periodization.
Nice.
He's the man. And we have actually gone back through really just focusing on like muscle physiology. And from there, just diving into the different like energy systems. And I know that you've been like devouring a lot of information when it comes. But it was really cool going back after like, you know, being through college and stuff, because in college I find that I didn't have the connection of like how it can carry over. And I also that in depth and that excited about it because I just like didn't really understand it. So I'm going back now with like a new view because of like my experiences and stuff. I think is super important. And just like understanding the differences between like how do you actually like what actually happens from a muscular level, like when you're trying to like add muscle, like what between like mitosis and like hypertrophy. And it's like mitosis is like cell division that happens in like smooth muscle and like cardiac muscle.
Oh yeah.
Hypertrophy is like we're actually like legit trying to add like nuclei to muscle. And it's like, all right, now what are the processes that go ahead to complete that? And so like devouring all through that information is important. But you can have like myofibrillar like hypertrophy, which is just like that there's like the actin and the myosin contractile parts of the muscle. And so like there you're just trying to focus on like getting like stronger contractions. Right. But you can also have like sarcoplasmic hypertrophy, which is like all the other like gunk and stuff like in the cell. Like that there's like your mitochondria. And it's like this stuff here is like not gonna help you like move that weight, like move more weight, you know, but it could help you, you know, be a little bit more efficient when it comes to like enhancing your like OXPHOS system. Because your OXPHOS system and like your ATP PC system are connected. Because if you don't have a really good like OXPHOS system, when you go ahead and you go into like slow glycolysis on the way down, that process is going to be slower, and then you're not going to be able to recover. But if you can recover quicker, you're going to be able to like move more weight. You're going to be able to like work done in a shorter period of time. Right. So like all that stuff is really, really crucial when it comes to like creating a program.
I was going to ask you that actually, is if diving into this has really kind of changed, or have you included or done anything different in your programming for either yourself or your clients since you're diving into this? Is there some more change there?
I think so, for sure. When it comes to more of like subjective numberings as well, and figuring out like really how much volume and how much work people can recover from is like
absolutely.
So, Greg has put together like this like hypertrophy like template per se, and it's been very surprising to me to see how much like work that we can actually do and be able to recover from it and come back during the next session. So, I don't think I have put enough work per se with people like in a hypertrophy phase. Right. And like Dr. Mike Israetel has put out some really good information when it comes to like how many like sets of, you know, chest, back, triceps, but to figure out like what your maximum recoverable volume is. Right. And it's been pretty cool, like keep track of that to see like how different people are. And I think it goes to show too, the people who tend to like be able to recover from all this stuff tend to have like really good habits too, like outside of the gym. And also from like a mental or like a mindset per se, because you, when it comes to like building muscle, like that shit is hard. Like it takes a lot of work, and you have to like work very close to failure in order to do that. And for some people, like that's very uncomfortable. So I think it gives people the opportunity to kind of like set their own reps too, because, you know, working with like 3 sets of 3 RIR, like reps in reserve.
Yeah, talk about that actually, reps in reserve. So you guys are kind of going off of that versus like RPE, right? Radius of perceived exertion. So you guys are going IRI. So tell me about that a little bit and how that works.
Yeah, I think, well, RIR stands for like reps in reserve. And it's different than RPE versus RPE is like rate of perceived exertion. So, you know, obviously like perceptually, like how hard was that set to you? But I think if you are in a hypertrophy phase, using RIR is going to be important, because it's really just like how many reps in reserve could you have done, and it allows you to really just push the set. Like, right. You could do 10 reps or you could do 15 reps, but you also have to be able to, like, be honest with yourself and be like, all right, like, how many reps can I get after it? And I look at it more as, like, a challenge or a game.
Right.
But people are getting, like, high reps, like, moving 70-ish percentage for, like, 15-ish plus reps, but it's cool because each week coming back, you can add a set, and then you can also add like 5 pounds to the bar. So simple way to get the double progressive overload, and then still like crushing like those numbers and hitting them. And you're also just building up so much more volume at heavier weights, and it's pretty cool to see. And I think it's important.
Do you prescribe this for a lot of your clients too? Like when you're writing the programs, is this part of it?
I'd say
depend on the person.
It depends on the person and also like the phase of training that they're in. Once you're starting to transition more towards, say, like a strength block, I wouldn't
get out of that.
You got to get out of that.
Yeah,
because it's like
so beneficial more in the hypertrophy block of training system. Yeah, nice. That's pretty solid. I think you're doing some pretty cool stuff there. Yeah. So are you currently trained this way, right? With RIR and your own training. Yeah. And you have found that to be more valuable?
I found it to definitely help me from like a confidence standpoint. And it's also, it's super easy to see progress too. It's like, like first week, I think I started off with just like 2 like SSB squats with second pause at the bottom, 2 sets at like 180 or 185 on the SSB, and I was getting like 10 reps. And then
nice.
I just finished up my last, I think week 5, ended up doing 4 sets with like 1 rep in reserve at 205 and was hitting like reps of 13 and 14. And it's like, it's now like my goal is, all right, like let me get to 225, because if I get 225, like once I go back to a straight bar, I'm like, okay.
Yeah. That's awesome. Yeah.
I mean, it's pretty cool. I think for females too, like improving those rep ranges, I think will definitely carry over to improving like those 5 and those 3 numbers.
Right. Is your training affected right now? Like, are you still able to get the same amount of work done, work capacity that you're doing? Or has that been affected with the whole shutdown of things?
So right now, like I'm still able to just like go in, but like, it's just different because I don't have like that environment.
The energy and vibe's a little off.
It's a little tough, but like I'm still like really thankful that I still have the ability to like go in and like train.
Yeah.
So extremely grateful for that. This week too is just a nice little deload. So
nice.
Going on.
We need those. How often do you deload?
So it really changes from like the time and stuff, but probably every like 6-ish, 7-ish weeks, depending on the phase. I find that like in a hypertrophy phase, I definitely want to be able to push longer.
Sure.
Or longer, but definitely when it comes into like a peaking phase, it's kind of just like, it may be 2 weeks.
Change it. Yeah, no kidding. Depends on what the body is doing. You'd have to adapt to it based on what the body's feeling. Yeah.
I'm very like intuitive when it comes to like what I need.
Right.
So, I know like John Kiley talks about this a lot. It's like there's no such thing as like periodization.
Yeah.
And
sure.
You and your coach have to be very good at just communicating. And so for me being smaller, a lot of the stuff is driven like neurally when it comes to speaking. And so sometimes it's like really, really exhausting. And so even though like I'm planning, I was supposed to hit like a heavy squat on Thursday or something like that. Yeah. I'll like be like,
not going to happen this week.
No. So I'll just, and that's fine with me. Like that's
totally
being able to be adaptable to the plan. Cause I know that like next week after having some like time off, I can go back, hit that number, feel refreshed. But I think that there's another point too of being like a solid coach is like being able to like, be adaptable.
Yeah.
Your athletes are feeling and like what their performance is too.
Right. I agree. Question then, post-workout meal. What is your favorite post-workout meal?
Okay, so I mean, I'm a pretty like traditional person. I'd say my favorite like workout meal is honestly just like sweet potatoes, steak, and broccoli.
Nice. I know, I like it.
Like it's just so cozy. Like it's
just so, I do that. I'm like this steak and rice and chocolate milk. It's
the best. Like I'm a huge fan of basics.
Right. I think that's awesome. I don't want to take up too much of your time, but do you have podcast or book recommendations? Obviously, we were just talking about Atomic Habits previously. Any other book recommendations for coaches out there that maybe want to improve their coaching skills?
Okay, so I would probably have to say, like, from a podcast standpoint, anything with, like, I love Brene Brown, but I think she just helps you understand you better so that, like, I can connect with my clients on, like, a deeper level. So,
sure.
I like Brene Brown. And I would say from, like, a training resource, the RP Plus, like, has hundreds and hundreds of, like, lectures.
Yeah.
I think it's just such a good resource, and those people are like very active too, like on their email accounts. So it's like you can reach out to them,
nice,
ask them questions, and they get right back to you. So I think that's
perfect.
So I
like it. Okay. Hell yeah. There we go. For those of you that are still on here, again, Nancy Newell from The Strength House, give her a follow. Also follow The Strength House. And Greg Robbins and Tony, I say Bonvec because I can't say your guys' Boston last names out there. What is it?
Bonvecchio.
And Lori, what's Lori's last name?
Manning.
That's an easy one. I should have had that one, actually. There we go. So give them all a follow. Again, very knowledgeable coaches out there. I appreciate your time. I'm sure I'm going to get you back on here for your second live chat soon enough since we're quarantined. Might as well hang out and socialize a little bit while we're social distancing. So whatever. I do appreciate you very much, Nancy, and I look forward to chatting with you more because you know you're going to hear a lot more from me.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Welcome, Badger. I'll chat with you later.
All right, sounds good.
Bye.